And every time I talk with the FBI, I try to control myself, but right in the conversation, hey man, let me tell you something. Da-da-da-da-da, then you have to take it easy. So this time, conflict resolution, our goal is to convince them that you're being ruled and controlled by Zion. Your children are going to war for the Zionists. And you can lay out which war. The Iraq War, both times, all of those, all the fighting that's going on in the world, right, is because of him. He the one killed 3,000 of your citizens. And they get a taste that it's halfway true. They're FBI agents, so they know some of it is true. The idea is to lay it out for them. Okay, y'all take care of this, then you run it through your court, and you make us a light hero, and then put little heroics in there for yourself. You followed this up, and it was hard. We have to search ourselves, and we had to overcome our own part that we played in this process. Let's fix it up, right? Okay, now you have to analyze. All the stuff we talk about, if we want to rent a military base for $1, the government is going to have to prove that. We don't want them to help us, but we want it for a homeless thing, right? Why? Because homelessness is bigger, the things are so big that we want to be left alone to do good, right? We have always said this, we want America to be America the good. Not America the great, it ain't never been great, but America the good. Can you imagine? America the good. All right? So, it don't add up that they wouldn't have, there's still a reality, right? This is a new time. They're pretending that we want to make things right, right? Of course they don't, but that's okay. We have to do, or we should do our part in this process, right? So we're following the Quran. What it tell us to do, that's what we're following. And we're going to the proper authorities because we believe. Our analysis shows that whatever we do, if they want to block it, they can almost make trouble. They let you build some, this, that, and the other. Then they come down and tear it apart, right? That's normal. Or anybody that's in there, they're going to have half their people in it. A minimum of half is going to be their people. That's the way it goes. It's been like that. When we started this stuff, this 94 was the second or third stage. We'd already did Oakland, and we was in the process of the next year we started As-Sabiqun. But this program that we're talking about now, we have been through a lot of this before. So the first part is easy. If we did this from 94 to 2004, you could imagine that we're talking about, well, big time stuff. We're not talking about little T9G. That's important. Anything that you do of good is important. But we have acquired such a state of knowledge and information and understanding that we should want to share that with the system. Because they have the Central Intelligence Agency, is a Central Ignorance Agency, right? It's ignorance. They don't do nothing intelligent.
Yeah, they don't. They really don't.
It's not, they get information, but they don't use it intelligently. It's not the Central Intelligence Agency. It's the Central Ignorance Agency. Same thing, CIA, Central Ignorance Agency, right? They wallow in ignorance. Okay, now, back to Niyyah, back to intention. They say the road to hell is paved with good intention. We don't believe that. We believe that's the shaitan made that up and fed it to the people, and they use it right now. You ask anybody what about intention, they say the road to hell is paved. So don't have no good, how you gonna do good if you don't have no good intention? That means if you do good, it's accidentally, right? You accidentally did some good, but you didn't plan it, think like we got planned. The plan is to do good. That's why for our first project, that's why we're dedicating it to Brother Tufayl. Because from those times up to now, there's only a couple people that's been here consistently all of that time. And they know all of this stuff. And that have been involved in it. See, if you look at Brother Tufayl's library, it was Hadith, Tafsir, Quran, because we used to trade and go find Tafsir. See, all other people, he had a wife, that girl could recite Quran. I mean, I'm telling you, I think she charged money to teach people how to, but she didn't know what she was saying. She just like people Hafiz of Quran, but they don't know what it means. And we never did that here. We said, that's why we concentrated on Tafsir of Quran, not recital. You never came to no class where we sitting up there. It's that, it's God, it's had all those rules of recitation. We just didn't do that. I mean, I have a year of Arabic and another review. Tafsir of Quran. No, Tafsir of Quran. You go to Brother Tufayl's house, every Tafsir, it's at least 5 or 6 Tafsir in the house, minimum. And they all good. I mean, because we would discuss, oh, that one ain't no good. But it's helpful, so we keep that. And this is dynamite. So the dynamite Tafsir, we used to discuss it all the time. That's why the stuff we say, it sounds like, why would you go to the FBI? Why would you talk to them about the project you're getting ready to do? Well, that's what the Quran say do, right? And they'll argue with you. They say, ain't no Quran told you to go to the non-believers and go to, it didn't say the non-believers, it said go to the biggest one in the town. Go to Pharaoh, right? Go to him. Speak nice words to him. Perchance he may, Allah know what Pharaoh is going to do. He know everything, right? But Allah said that that's the sunnah of Moses. So technically it's the sunnah of the prophets. Just like before you would attack a town, the Muslims would wait at night. You know what they was waiting for? To see if they call the adhan. If they call the adhan, they're going about their business because there's Muslims there. There's enough Muslims there, right? Or before you declare war and stuff, offer people a proposal. You know, all that stuff is the sunnah. The people, I'm not going to talk about it, but they don't have a deep understanding of the functional See, tafsir gives you a functional idea about the Quran. So, from our current programs in the past, we had things like Department of Strategic and Islamic Studies, College of Islamic Movement Studies, Strategic Management under Conditions of Oppression. Those have to be upgraded. Why? Because these are years old. They are on the money. The de-Negroization process, all that. A lot of y'all don't remember that stuff. Yeah, balanced space awareness. Muslim cultural development replacement. What is cultural development replacement? Who do everybody listen to in America, in the world, for music and everything else? They listen to African Americans mostly, right? And now Latinos. The people who are oppressed in a society, or the low class, always, only 2 or 3% of the people listen to classical, what you call high class music. The ones that control the minds of the people are the lower classes. I don't care whether it's Dixieland back in the 20s, jazz, minstrel shows, remember blackface? The white folks were putting on blackface back then, everywhere. Because there's something about how the British hate the Irish, but they like Irish music. And bagpipes, you see, wherever they go, they got the bagpipes playing, because the Scots and they were oppressed by the British. Well, why they got the bagpipes blowing? Because you listen to the bagpipes, they got that whine and that sound of sincerity, right? And caring. Yeah, they do. You can just hear it. You don't have to know what's going on, but you can hear it. Cultural replacement means that the Muslims should start making halal music, halal plays, halal everything, halal, halal, halal. Why? Then the Americans will start listening to it. Why? Because they'll be putting their heart in it. They'll be putting their heart in it, and it's developed. All in 10 years, you can have everybody listening to Muslims. You can't say it can't happen. The beetle invasion, all the monkeys and all of them people, what was they singing? Blues. That's right. And they wasn't singing, they wasn't doing a good job either. Right? But it was sincerity. It was what they call authenticity. And Europeans have been doing that. That was a movie, I don't know if y'all ever saw it. It's an old movie, Blues in the Night. Blues in the Night, and they in jail, these young white boys in the band, they done got it. And they hear this old Negro sing, "My mama done told me when I was in knee pants," you know, and they said, "That's authentic." It was made in the 40s. Jack Carson, whatever they did, something like that. Muslims should make authentic, all they got to do is do it. If they do it, it's going to be authentic. So all the wars, the oppression, everything that's happening to them, from Bosnia to Boko Haram, right, to being run over to this country and that country, immigration into Europe, all of that will be a part of the music, right? And pretty soon, the Americans will be listening to it. Why? They don't have anything of their own. They're going to copy somebody else. There's a little bit of hillbilly music, it's not that bad. I mean, it's authentic, you know. Okay. Islamic Institute for Counter-Zionist American Psychological Warfare. I'm going to begin to wrap this up because we've done all of this stuff, talks about during this period, together we want to develop a plan of action and work with missionary zeal to bring about and play a role in the Earth Liberation Movement, which aims to free the Earth from the parasitical behavior of man, establish a non-predatory system of interconnected global harmony, nurture and further a culture of Earth-first custodianship, understand and respect the rights of the Earth, which should be treated as a living organism, which it is, and envision and actualize a global redesign for the 21st century. This is an old fly, it's 2011, but they don't even think Negroes talk like this. Develop to free the earth of the parasitical behavior of man, establish a non-predatory system of interconnected global harmony. That don't even sound African American, right? Well, it does, but they don't have people believe in it. That's what it sounds like, right? We supposed to death to the white man. We want to black lives matter, right? That's what they do. They don't want you to have no sense, right? And they don't present you as having no sense. Okay, that's their problem. We want to present a good alternative. Victory of Islam over the Shah and victory of Masjid al-Islam over the combined forces of Zionism. The people yesterday was out running around. You would think they got rid of a dictator, right?
Yeah, that's what they said in New York. Exactly.
Yeah, this is a revolution to them. Hey man, I mean, they was partying when I went to bed. They wouldn't go to bed. They wouldn't. Hey man, they was just partying and dancing all over America. And I could imagine Don's people was burning up. You know, Don's people was burning up. Now, you got to remember, this is a big education. Because remember, that's over 70 million people who are basically dummies. They dummies. They believe, I mean, of course, we don't want to go watch this instead of call them dummies. But they got, hey man, those people believed that Don was real. They could take wood nickels. You get here, this is a wood nickel. Yeah, man, I know. You got more of them? It's a wood nickel. That's what they look. You know, I know, the world know. Do you know how many people around the world called old Biden, whatever his name was, man, happy days is here again. I mean, Don did a good job. He did the job that he was hired to do by the Zionists. Divide America, mess up things as much as they could, and then he'd spend the 4 years here, and then he'd have to go. And see, when the white folk, the big white folks double cross you, he like Hillary Clinton, you know, she was supposed to win the election, then the FBI brought out some a week before the election. Remember that?
Yeah,
and then she didn't win. Now, to her, he didn't have to do that. But that was a plan all the time, because they didn't want her to win, because they didn't want her to be in there. Right? They just didn't. But they know how to manipulate their own system. It's their system. Their system, and they can put anybody in there they want to. And if they don't want them in there, they're not going to get in there. I don't care what the people think. And they're going to teach them how to think, and they're going to tell them what to think, right? Okay, all of those things we have to deal with. So we need allies. So we have to educate the system on who their real enemy is. It ain't us. And you don't have to be nervous that if we gain power, Does anybody know what happened in Kenya with Jomo Kenyatta, burning spear, when they took power in 1961, 62? Nothing. Does anybody know what happened? Everybody would know. What happened in South Africa when Nelson Mandela came to power? They had Truth and Reconciliation. Negroes don't do, white folks think we gonna do them the way they did us. They are just sure of that. But it never happens. You don't find in history, you do not find, when you look around the world, when black people, a little bit in Mozambique, but it wasn't bad, it wasn't nothing like that they've been doing us, right? That's the same thing you're hearing right now. We have to calm these people down. Look, we are not you. We are not going to do you like you did us. We almost got to convince them. After all these lectures on peace and love and all that, they still don't believe it. But we ain't gonna stop. We're gonna tell them one more time. But we have to do what we're gonna do anyway. See, in other words, if they don't accept the proposal, if they don't act on the proposal, you know, we'll have it better organized when we present it to them. And that's what we're going to present to them. Why? Because we would like to collaborate with the 5 or 10 or 15% of the people inside of the system and keep the system out of our way. Because the dumb system thinks we're the problem. And 70% of the people is so slow, you gotta imagine how slow they are. They have a rally, a demonstration, and Antifa, whoever they call them, come up and burn up something. They ain't got enough sense to know that those people are the FBI. They don't know that. They think they're Antifa, anti-fascist. Though they pro-fascist, they put there to do that. We know that because we're active. We know that because we're active. They're not active on a level, and they're not going to treat them that way so they'll ever find out, hardly. We know that because we're right here in the Southeast. We're Muslims, and they talk about oppression. They're doing this because we're black. I said, boy, look here. If you was black and Muslim, then you know a few things. And not only black and Muslim, but an active counter-Zionist, anti-Zionist Muslim. Now you're talking. You're going to learn